Today, we will get an overview of Mitsubishi's PLC series and learn in detail about the configuration of Mitsubishi's Q Series PLC. First, let's look at the applications where we will use Mitsubishi's PLC series. As you know, PLCs are widely used in industry and automation, and especially in industries like automobile manufacturing. The application of automation is very important. Most of the assembly and welding of parts, welding frames, etc., will use robots controlled by PLCs. In addition, in sectors such as food and beverage, PLCs are also used in automated lines so that we can perform automatic bottle capping for these lines. In addition, we can automatically fill bottles with liquids using PLCs, which is very convenient. In addition, in industries related to semiconductors, the semiconductor industries, we will also use PLCs to control and assemble components and devices onto the PCB board completely automatically, achieving very high productivity. Those are the applications where we will use PLCs. Next, we will move on to Mitsubishi's PLC series. We will find out which PLC series Mitsubishi has produced to date. First, for small-scale projects, we will use integrated PLC series. For example, the F-Series PLCs. For instance, the FX3U, FX3UC series. With these PLC series, the I/O and communication options will be fewer than with the larger PLC series. And in addition to the F-Series PLC, we will have another series, which is the IF PLC series. A typical example is the FX5U PLC series. As for the FX5U PLC series, it will have more powerful features integrated compared to the F-Series PLC, like the FX3U series. So, the F-Series PLC and the F-Series PLC are PLC series used in small projects and standalone machine projects. Next, for larger projects, medium-scale projects, we will use the L-Series PLC. As for the L-Series PLC, it is integrated in a modular assembly format. You can replace and repair it very easily. And with this series, the number of connection standards and the number of I/O will be greater, and we can easily control a larger system. And larger than this L-Series PLC, we have another PLC series, which is the Q Series PLC and the IK series. These two PLC series are used for large-scale projects with a large number of inputs and outputs and multiple communication standards. So, for large projects, you will use two PLC series, the Q Series PLC and the R Series PLC. Okay, so those are the Mitsubishi PLC series that have been produced to date. Next, we will take a closer look at the Q Series PLC. As you can see on the left side of the screen here, this is an actual image of the Q Series PLC units. The Q Series PLC is designed to be assembled from modules. For example, this base module. This base module is used to hold other modules. Other modules will be installed on top of this base module. The Q Series PLC has separate modules, like its power supply and I/O units. This makes them very easy to remove, install, or replace when a failure occurs. That is the structure of the Q Series PLC. And for this Q Series PLC, it will have a CPU module. You can see in the image, this is the CPU module. For this CPU module, Different CPU modules will have different program capacity steps. For example, with the Q00UG CPU series, it can be programmed with about 10,000 steps. And the higher the generation of the CPU, the greater the number of steps we can program. For example, the Q26UDH CPU series can be programmed with 260,000 steps. And for these high generation series, there will be types that are divided into the Q26UDH CPU and the Q26UD CPU. So how are they different? The UDH CPU series are the ones that process at high speeds. For the UDE CPU series, the E stands for Ethernet. It will have an integrated Ethernet port, so you can use Ethernet communication. As you can see, we have the letter H here. H stands for high speed, identifying this as the high-speed universal model PLC CPU. This is the high-speed signal processing module. Okay. Next, we will look at some applications where we will use the Q Series PLC. You can see on the screen here a paper manufacturing machine, and this machine will be used for automatic newspaper printing. The newspaper pages will be printed completely automatically using this machine, and this machine will use many Q Series PLCs. You can see here that these are Q Series PLCs communicating with each other to form a complete machine. And for these machines, we will use servo motors to perform interpolated movement so that these servo motors will move with interpolation and be synchronized. This is a very powerful application of the Q Series PLC. And finally, we will look into some features of the Q Series PLC. For example, with the Q Series PLC, we can use many different CPU series, such as the Programmable Controller CPU series. This is the Universal Model series. In addition, we will have CPUs that are process CPUs and CPUs that can be programmed in the C language, which are C CPUs. And this is the Motion CPU. For this Motion CPU series, we can use it to control interpolation and advanced features for servo motors. In addition, we will have modules such as a robot controller or a CNC CPU. There are many different features that you can assemble on the same Q Series PLC. For the programming language, we can use ladder language or structured text language. In addition, we can use the C/C++ language for the C controller series. And this Q Series PLC also supports function blocks, function block diagrams, many features that are also available on other PLC series. Okay, for the programming software, we will use the G2 software. And in addition, we can use the GX developer software, which is an older software. And currently, we will mostly use the GX Works2 software. Next, Q Series programming. Okay, I would like to end this video here. Thank you for watching.